The Avatar Frontiers of Pandora third-person mode is finally confirmed, and it's not just a simple camera switch, it's a fundamental overhaul that will completely redefine combat. Ubisoft has officially dated this free update for December 5th, 2025, and it's set to fix the single biggest complaint players have had since the game's launch. So, on December 5th, a free update drops that adds a fully implemented third-person mode for all on-foot gameplay. This isn't just for your Ikron or Dire Horse anymore. This is the full experience. But that's not all. Ubisoft also just announced the From the Ashes expansion, a new story DLC where you won't be playing as your own character. Instead, you'll take control of Solek, a specific Na'vi warrior, fighting alongside hunters and the RDA against a new threat. This two-part announcement signals a massive new wave of support for the game, a year after its release. However, let's be real, the third-person camera is the headline here. This has been the #1 most requested feature for months. Players felt that the mandatory first-person viewpoint was a huge mismatch for a game built on acrobatic movement and cinematic combat. It was often chaotic, disorienting, and frankly, it robbed us of the connection to our own customized Na'vi. This isn't just a bonus feature, it's the way the game arguably should have been played from the start. This is a complete rework of the game's feel, and it impacts 6 key areas. The most significant change is tactical. Let's talk situational awareness. In first person, combat, especially against swarms of Viper Wolves or in a dense RDA base, is pure chaos. You're just spinning in circles, staring at red damage indicators on your HUD, trying to figure out where you're being hit from. It's frustrating. With a third-person camera, the battlefield opens up. You can see the amp suit firing from the front, the soldier flanking on the right, and the Viper Wolf charging from behind all at the same time. Combat shifts from being reactive and panicked to proactive and strategic. You'll finally be able to manage the fight instead of just surviving it. This directly transforms Melee. Right now, Melee is a high-risk panic button. It's a disorienting first-person lunge that's almost impossible to aim effectively. You just jab forward and, well, hope for the best. In third person, you'll see your Na'vi's full body animations. You can finally judge the distance and arc of your staff. More importantly, evasion becomes a real mechanic. Instead of a simple step dodge that barely moves you, we'll get full-on acrobatic rolls and slides, letting you skillfully weave between attacks. It's the difference between feeling clumsy and feeling like a true Na'vi warrior. Now, for the bow. This is the one trade-off. First person is undeniably precise for hitting those tiny amp suit weak points or pilot visors. The new system will almost certainly use a tight, over-the-shoulder aim, similar to Horizon or The Last of Us. What you lose in that tiny bit of pinpoint precision, you gain tenfold in safety and mobility. You'll be able to use cover like a modern third-person shooter. You can stay behind a rock, pan the camera to see the battlefield while staying safe, then pop out to fire a clean shot. The running bow style of gameplay will feel infinitely more fluid and cinematic. But the biggest buff here is for stealth players. Stealth in the current game is high risk and, frankly, clunky. You can't peek a corner without exposing your entire body to the detection meter. A third-person camera is a complete game changer for infiltration. You'll be able to pan the camera around corners, over cover, and above ledges to map out entire enemy patrol routes without moving the player character an inch. It turns stealth from a trial-and-error guess-infest into a legitimate, powerful, and strategic option, much like in a modern Assassin's Creed or Ghost Recon title. And finally, this all ties into immersion, but it's a different kind of immersion. First person gives you high sensory immersion. You are the Na'vi, and the world feels massive. But third person gives you character immersion. Players spend hours in the character creator and unlocking new cosmetic gear, only to never see it outside of the menu or on a mount. This update finally lets you connect with the hero you built. You'll see your Na'vi sprint, slide, jump, and fight all in one fluid, beautiful motion. It's the same reason Cyberpunk 2077 had to add it post-launch. Players want to see their character. Now, let's fold in the Ashes expansion. It's fascinating that they're choosing to give us a predefined character in Solek. This suggests a move towards a more focused, a tighter narrative. By taking away our custom character, Massive is taking a big narrative risk, but it's also a huge opportunity. The main game's plot was its weakest point for many, a standard chosen one trope. By forcing us into the boots of Solek, they can write a story with a predefined history, with personal stakes and relationships that don't have to account for 1,000 different player choices. It could be the difference between a generic open-world story and a focused cinematic campaign. The community reaction to all this has been wild. You have one side absolutely ecstatic, with one gamer calling it the most underrated game in the last 5 years. Many are saying they've been waiting only for this third-person update to finally start playing. Then, you've got a whole other group that's still not satisfied. There's a surprisingly loud call for a human RDA perspective. One player flat out said, "I would 100% buy an Avatar game if we played as the humans." It's a valid fantasy. Controlling the RDA tech, piloting the amp suits, it's a completely different game. The tech, the moral ambiguity, it's a story dying to be told. This split in the community is what Ubisoft has to navigate. And then you have the practical concerns, players begging for the expansion to hit Game Pass to let thousands enjoy it, and technical questions about bug fixes for the PS5 Pro. This game is expensive, and an expansion pack splits the player base. Putting the base game on Game Pass right before the expansion drops would be a brilliant move to unify the community and drive massive DLC sales. This third-person update is a massive win for the majority, but the Solic expansion and the lingering request for an RDA campaign show the future of Frontiers of Pandora is still being heavily debated. This third-person update is clearly a massive necessary fix, but I want to know your take on the new expansion. Do you prefer to play as a set character like Solek for a tighter, more focused story? Or do you want to stick with your own custom Na'vi for total open-world freedom? Let me know your take in the comments. If you appreciate this kind of deep dive analysis, subscribe for more.